Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I am the CouchWarrior, and you are watching Arcane, a Skyrim Let's Play. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached Part 7, which marks the close of Chapter 2. I can't believe we're about to go to Chapter 3 already. Time flies. So in this episode, we are going to infiltrate Golden Glow Estate. In my last couple episodes, I solicited a little input from you all on how I should go about this, and I got some interesting ideas. Some people thought I should wipe out everyone. Others thought I should do the whole thing stealth. After some consideration, what I have elected to do is try to go through this without alerting anyone to my presence. But my plan is to eliminate the boss of this operation. I believe his name is Goth. He will be the only one who will die tonight, if my plan works. Got some skeevers here. I'm very concerned about allowing them to get close and touch me. I don't want to get bit here, and I'm about to, I think. There we go. Yeah, fry the rest of them. Oh, excellent. My main concern here is that the disease that the skeever carry, I believe it's called ataxia, but it affects your motor skills, fine motor skills, specifically lock-picking, pickpocket, stuff like that, which, if you've ever been through this Golden Glow quest before, you know that there is a ton of lock-picking that goes on in this one, and I really don't want to put myself at a disadvantage this early on. It also says something interesting about Bethesda's level design. Makes perfect sense that in a quest line that is heavy in thieving skills, lockpicking specifically, but potentially pickpocket as well, they would challenge the player further by stocking the whole front end of this quest with skeevers who could potentially pass along a disease and put you at some disadvantage through the entire thing if you're not prepared. And I have gone through my inventory, and I know that I do not have a cure disease potion on me, so if I get bit and acquire that disease, it's just going to make things that much more difficult. We got a tripwire here. Let's pop it. Fired a couple arrows down the hall just to make sure all the skeevers were accounted for, and it appears that they are. So, there was a room back here. I wanted to make sure all the skeevers were taken care of first, because I have 2 sets of bracers. The Thieves Guild ones here, when I switch to them, will help me with my lockpicking, so I wanted to make sure that I was completely done firing arrows before I made that switch, and it appears that we are. So let's give ourselves every advantage possible, right? Excellent. And another level. Oh, we are so close to level 18. Ah, and another level. Doesn't matter how many times I play these quests, they're always just as much fun, if not more fun, than the last time I played them, and quite often I will forget where the skill books are and stuff, so there's usually a pleasant surprise somewhere that I've forgotten about. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have been following this story up to this point, and my other videos as well. It's been a blast talking with all of you, and it has inspired me to continue doing more. There are times when I go in fits and starts. I forgive my inconsistency, but I hope you will as well. You know, life intrudes sometimes. And there are times when I have lots of opportunity to make videos, and other times when things are just so packed in with work and family obligations that it becomes difficult to do so. Now, I think we pop out behind the estate at the back door here. Yeah. this lock? Now, it would be pretty easy to breeze through this without doing all this extra stuff. But I tend to search just about every room and open just about every locked door and chest. There are a couple rooms I can think of and chests, for example, that I'll probably avoid just because they're guarded pretty heavily, and there's a greater chance that I'm going to compromise my stealth by bothering with them. And honestly, if you remember, this is a role play. There's that level. Let's take a look at our options here. It's going to go into health for sure, but I just don't know what I'm going to spend this perk on, to be honest. There are things that I could spend them on, but that aren't at the top of my to-do list. Kindred Mage is what I want, really bad. There's really nothing else that I want in Conjuration at the moment. So, as you know, I struggle with trying to be disciplined about spending perks. So my philosophy for this play through with this character is that unless I know for damn sure that it's something that is on my high priority list, I'm not going to spend the perk. Otherwise, I tend to spend them on frivolous stuff. So muffled movement, that could be a good one, but I'm still unsure. So we're going to bank this one. Maybe we'll spend it later. So, true to my thievery form, we try to leave things as we found them, so if I open a door and pass through, I close it behind me unless I feel it needs to stay open for an escape route. That's kind of a kitchen. I'm going to skip that one. Here's a table. We'll look in here. Tiny bits of gold. Junk. So the objective here is that we are supposed to get into Golden Glow, and we're going to do two things. First, we're going to steal the deed, or some letter associated with the deed. I can't remember exactly, but this is going to give us a clue as to who is attempting to set up the Thieves Guild. And the other objective we have is we're going to send a message to Arengoth, the guy who runs Golden Glow, that we mean business. And we are going to do that by burning half of his beehives. He has a total of 6. We're going to burn 3. That's going to be the message we send. However, we have already established the fact that Fleet's intent is to not leave this building with Arengoth alive. So presumably the message we're going to be sending, we will be sending to whoever his second in command is, or his investors, or whomever else will be in charge of this place when he is gone. Presumably it's going to be somebody who's going to be more obedient with regard to Maven Blackbriar. Alright, we found some salt, found some alchemy ingredients. We're going to close this door and move on. So many locks to pick. My hope is that once I pick the lock here on the door, everything inside will be open and I won't have to do it again. I'm going to take this stuff. Don't need boots. So my plan is, let's talk a little bit about Chapter 3. There's been an ongoing discussion in the comments sections of a couple of episodes here where we're talking about what will Fleet's approach be to the Dark Brotherhood. We've established that he needs to get them off his back, but we have two options, right? One option would be for us to join them. The other option would be for us to destroy them. And I've gotten feedback on both options. I've played quite a few characters through the Dark Brotherhood quest line. I won't say through. I've played the Dark Brotherhood quest line with a number of characters. I've completed that quest line with only one character so far. So I do know how it ends. I have never, however, destroyed the Dark Brotherhood. In other words, attacked them in their lair and killed them all. And I'm going to do some more research on that, give it some more thought. One of the things that I have to bear in mind is not only what would Fleet do, but what's going to be the most fun to play, and what does it mean to play an assassin character outside of the Dark Brotherhood, and will I be missing out on any helpful gear, options, things of that nature by destroying them? So I have to be aware of that. I don't want to make a choice for the sake of story that is going to sacrifice even more story later on. In other words, if I do destroy the Dark Brotherhood, are there going to be limitations on me as an assassin that are going to hobble the gameplay going forward? If my objective was to be a soldier or to be a thief primarily, I might consider destroying the Dark Brotherhood without a second thought. But the fact that my intent is to play this character as an assassin primarily gives me a little bit of pause in making that decision, because I don't want to make a decision that's going to cause problems later on or restrict my ability to gain gear that would be essential to any assassin. So I have to really give that some consideration. And to be honest, I'll probably do a little bit of research on the wikis just to find out what the outcomes might be or what the impacts on the character would be going forward if I made that decision. Something about the decision, however, is appealing to me. The idea that, you know, he might go that route as opposed to allying himself with them. He seems like he is a serious-minded person. He's got a very, very wide mean streak. He's fiercely independent. So this feeling that somebody is steering him in a particular direction or forcing his hand, manipulating him in this way would be particularly offensive to him. So there's a lot of things to consider. I would say, however, that Skyrim is not the game to play if you are in any way seriously offended about being manipulated, because that's primarily what happens to your character throughout this entire thing. There's always somebody pulling you one direction or another. But this one's a little bit more overt than others in that they are going to attempt to kill me at every turn unless I do something. So that increases the seriousness for me. And it means that Fleet has much more at stake here. Whereas some quests he can just walk away from. This is one he can't afford to walk away from, especially at low level, because, you know, any one of those assassins who happen to get surprise on me on the road and are able to, you know, get me into a melee combat situation, any one of them could kill me very quickly. So that raises the stakes a bit, doesn't it? So Chapter 3 is really going to be all about that decision and the impacts of that decision. All right. So I am going to empty this room down here, make sure there's nothing down here that I need before I go into Arangoth's chambers. We've got to sneak behind this guy. I believe his door is locked, so we're going to have to pick this lock too. On that topic of the Dark Brotherhood, though, I definitely want to thank all of you who've been contributing ideas and seem to be becoming invested in this character. Makes it that much that much more fun to do these. Alright, first, we know he's in here. We're going to deal with him before we loot anything. And I am going to go after him with a dagger. We're going to go for a backstab. Prior to doing that, we're going to take a couple potions. We've got invisibility and light feet. We take light feet first. And then we follow that up with invisibility. And then we make our approach. I'm hoping I can get a nice clean backstab, but you never know. It depends on whether or not he's on alert. There he is. Yeah, he's on alert. So let's get a shot. Ugh. Not clean. Not clean at all. Come on. Okay, we got him in the ropes. Finish him. We gotta finish him. Oh, I cannot believe the guards didn't hear that. We're gonna sit here for a second. Wow. Well, it was very, very sloppy, ladies and gentlemen, but it worked. So, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to loot this room as quickly as I can and get the heck out of here. We need to get down toward that basement level and away from the scene of this crime. I don't want to miss anything, though. Check this out. I'm going to take that statue. I'm pretty sure Delvin... Yes. We'll give that to Delvin. It's one cool thing about the Thieves Guild quest line is periodically, if you keep your eyes open, periodically you'll find these really cool little, unusual items. I think there's a golden ship, and there's, I don't know, there's vases and chalices and stuff like that. It's all special stuff that Delvin's looking for, and you can get extra cash if you find these things, if you keep your eyes open. Alright, let's get this stuff. Alright. Now these, I can get these, I think. I'm going to stay in the shadows and just move far enough forward that the wardrobe appears. There it is. I don't have to move any farther forward than that. Ugh, there's nothing in them. Okay, let's get the hell out of here before somebody gets wise. Alright, so all we've done at this point is accomplish an optional mission. Well, a couple optional missions. One was to eliminate Arangoth. The other was to acquire his safe key, so that we don't have to pick that lock. And we got some loot. Picked up a statue on the way, which we'll get some money for. Now, we know there's a guard patrolling here in this hall, so we are going to wait patiently until we know he's at a stage in his patrol that is going to have his back to us. Sometimes you can kind of see, he never comes around that corner, but you can see his feet as he comes down to the end and turns around and heads back the other direction. Let's have a peek. Third person is always the best way to do this. Okay, now he's headed back. He really moves pretty quickly, so we got to head across. Now that key also gets us in this gate, which means that's one less lock that we have to pick. And in this particular case, I don't like the thought of pausing in the hallway while there's a guard standing there picking that lock, so that works to our advantage as well. Anything under here? Nope. Alright, so we've made it down to the basement level. Now those two guards that were in that hall upstairs, that's an example of two guys that I'm not going to mess with. I know that they're guarding a room, and I'm guessing there's something valuable in it, but I'm not going to mess with those guys just because I know it's very likely that I would be able to eliminate both of them without alerting everyone else. So I'm not going to do that. In the basement, there's a couple other guys like that as well. These two guys in the basement level who are back in the corner. There's actually a chest back there. There's probably something of value in it, but I'm guessing it's not valuable enough to risk compromising our mission, because ultimately our goal here is to impress people. We need to impress Maven, and we need to impress Brynjolf and Mercer, and following the mission parameters to the letter is going to allow us to do that. If we killed anybody else, I'm guessing somebody would be mad, and it's just not worth it at this point. It would be interesting, though, to consider coming back to Golden Glow when we're higher level, and just coming through here for fun, and trying to check out some of those areas that we're missing this time through for the sake of being careful. Alright. Here's a guy here. We're going to need to go invisible to get past him undetected. So, gonna do that. We got our muffle spell working. Got our levels in sneak, we've got invisibility, and we breeze right by that guy. And here we are at objective number 1. Here's the safe, we've got the key. So, that gets us in there. Got the bill of sale. That's what it is, right? It's not the deed, it's the bill of sale. It's the bill of sale for the deed. So presumably the bill of sale will help us find out who is involved in the transaction or who brokered the transaction. Give us another lead to follow. That's cool. Got some coin. And we're out of here. Very nice. Okay, so mission accomplished there. We got in, killed Arengoth, got the stuff we needed. No one else was any the wiser. Now, objective number 2 is we need to burn some beehives. In my view, this is the easier of the 2 objectives. We don't have to contend with the guards much if we do this right. So this ladder is going to take us up behind Golden Glow again. We don't want to do that. That's going to put us far from our objective. So we're going to go way back down the hall here to where we first came into the sewer, and that puts us out on the right side of the island. Side of the island that's closer to the beehives, anyway. The beehives are actually on a separate island, a smaller island that's adjacent to Golden Glow, connected by a bridge. We are not going to be taking that route. That would expose us too much. What we're going to do is go through the water. We're going to make the swim across to the other island, go around the back of the island, scale the rocks, and come up behind those beehives. And then I have an interesting little trick I discovered a while back about burning these, which will allow you to burn them with much less likelihood of being detected by the mercenaries who are patrolling the grounds. And I will show you that momentarily. Okay, so we need to scoot across here. We're going to use these little islands and clusters of trees as cover. And we're going to head straight over here to this rock face. And this rock face will allow us to kind of cruise around the back edge of this island undetected. Okay, now somewhere along here there is a spot that I have found where you can get up here. I can never remember how far around to go, so usually I mess around here a little bit trying to figure out. I don't think it's this cluster of trees, but let me try this. No, it's not here. We gotta go around this way. It's kind of like a rock ramp right here. So mark this spot, people. Past the cluster of trees, this kind of ramp of rock here. You can usually get up here in just a couple of jumps. Jump across here to this rock, which is just above that cluster of trees we were looking at. I think that's where I get confused. Takes a couple of jumps, but you can get up here. And then you kind of double back. Now we are behind a fence. On the other side of this fence is the beehives that we need to burn. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip flames in our right hand, muffle in the left. I'm going to move forward here. First thing I want to do is get a count of the total number of beehives. I believe there's 6. So let's look. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want to burn the last 3. So we're gonna bypass these. Now, critical to this is do not take out your spells. Do not take out your flame spell until you absolutely need it. We're not actually going to fire the flame spell. If you hold the flame spell active in your hand and stand close to these things, that is enough to light them on fire. You don't actually have to use the spell. In other words, you don't have to pull the trigger on the spell. You just have to have the spell in your hand. So if you have the spell in your hand and you walk behind these, you're going to end up burning a lot more beehives than you were supposed to, and you're going to get in trouble. So I've gone all the way to the end. I'm going to come back to the first one here that we're going to burn, number 1. Now I'm going to pull the spell out and just stand close to it. Move in close. There we go. Do the next one. Move in close. And number 3. Move in close. It starts on fire by itself. Now I can put my spells away, and I can jump right down here into the water using that as cover, and I am out of here. Simple as that. So usually I'll come around here behind these islands now. We've got a body of water here to cross, but I should be able to cross most of this underwater. Use water as cover. Well, the water doesn't necessarily help you when it comes to stealth, but I like to imagine it does because it should, right? And this is primarily a role-playing type of deal, so I'm cool with that. Okay, it's a little after 7 in the morning. So that was about a 5 or 6 hour operation in total, game time. So let's have a look back. Yeah, we can see the hives burning in the distance. Now we head back to the Thieves Guild and we report our success. That went pretty smoothly. Well, everyone, just wanted to mention to you that I have established a CouchWarrior Facebook page where I will be putting up all the updates as they come. This will include not only videos, but any updates I have about the channel. I will probably be making a channel update video at some point because there are a lot of things going on. So if you're not subscribed to Tumblr or Twitter, if Facebook is your preferred method of communication or your preferred social media channel, you can find everything you need there now. I'm still working on it. I've got all the updates there for Arcane Arcana, but I will be putting some more videos up there from my other series very soon. So I encourage you to check that out. You will find it linked from YouTube. You will also find it linked from my website at CouchWarrior.tv. Thank you for joining me in Chapter 2. I look forward to seeing you all in Chapter 3. Things are only going to get more intense and more interesting. But for now, we've reached the end of this episode. I thank you for taking the journey with me. And until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry. You've been watching Arcane Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Play. If you liked this video, please rate, like, and subscribe. For more information on this and other CouchWarrior broadcasts, visit me on the web at www.couchwarrior.tv.